Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if this is your first time here. In today's video I am bringing to you an easy way to cut and sew your shorts without a side seam. So this shirt is going to have an elastic waistband. There will be no side seam at all. It's very easy and quick. It's something that you can do within 1 hour. So if you're interested in learning how to make something like this, keep on watching and let us get straight into this video. For this project, I used less than 1 yard of Ankara fabric. I had a limited amount of fabric, but it still worked. But 1 yard should be enough for you regardless. And to know the amount of fabric to use, you'll be needing your thigh measurement. Okay, so your thigh measurement, you divide it by 2 and add extra 3 to 4 inches to that. And this should be on fold, okay? So my own here, that is what I cut out, and this fabric is on fold. Now I'm going to go ahead and open this up, all right, and I am going to be ruling a line in the center. From that crease line that I have in the middle, I'm just going to rule out a line to make it more visible. And after ruling out the line, this is what it looks like. So I'm going to be using one side to draft for the front pattern, and I'm going to be using the other side to draft for the back. So you can use whatever side you want, they are both equal. So first things first, I am going to be ruling out the length of my shorts, and in order to do this, I subtracted 1.25 inches. Can you see the way I placed my tape? I subtracted 1.25 inches, and this is for my band. So if you want a band of 1.5 inches or 2 inches or 1 inch, you just subtract that amount. And then for my short length, I'm going to be using 20 inches, and I added extra 1 inch for hemming allowance. So I am marking this thing the same thing. I placed my 1.25 inches at the tip, and I marked 21 inches on both sides, and I'm going to be ruling this out with a straight line. So this straight line that I have ruled out here will now be my starting line, okay? So I'm going to be ruling this out on this other side. So I'm going to do the same thing, place my 1.25 inches away at the tip like this, and mark my 21 inches. Remember I said 20 inches is my short length and extra 1 inch for hemming allowance. Now I'll go ahead and draft the front part of this my short. So this new line that I have here on the top is going to be my waistline. I'm going to be using this other side for the hem. So first thing I'm going to do is impute my crotch depth measurement, and you can get that by dividing your hips measurement by 4. And I'm going to add 2 inches to this because this is a high waist. You can add 3 inches. I think 3 inches would be ideal. After making this, I realized that 3 inches would be ideal. So whatever vertical measurements you're taking, do not forget to take away your band measurements from it. Alright, so I marked 12 inches for my crotch depth and 20 inches, which is my short length, okay? And like I said, the remaining 1 inch is for my hemming allowance. So I'm just going to rule out these lines like this, and I'm going to label it. This is my crotch line, this is my length line, this is my allowance, and the very top one there is my waist. On my crotch line, I imputed my hips measurement divided by 4, which is 10 inches, and I added extra ½ inch for ease allowance. So feel free to add as much ease as you want. This is dependent on how free you want your shirt to be. And on my waist, I also marked that same 10.5 inches because this is an elastic waist trouser, and we need room for it to pass through our butt to get to our waist. So I connected this point to the straight line, and from that my crotch line I'm going up by 2.5 inch, and this will help me to create my crotch curve. Next, on that crotch line again, I'm going to be imputing my thigh measurements divided by 2. Mine is 12 inches, and I added extra ½ inch for ease allowance. Again, feel free to use whatever ease allowance you want. This is dependent on how free you want your shorts to be. So from that angle, I just went up by 1 inch, and this is just to give me a guide to drawing my curve. You can use your free hand to draw in this curve. You can also use the help of your curved ruler. All right. So for the length of my shorts, that's my length area, which is basically around my knee. I'm going to be using 22 inches for that. Divided by 2 is 11 inches, and I marked that down. So feel free to make the leg of your shirt as wide as you want. So I'm going to be connecting these points together like this using the help of my straight ruler, and I am just going to slant this out towards my allowance, and our front pattern is basically ready. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and label this my front. Okay, and next we'll go ahead and draft for the back. So for the back, I am basically going to repeat what I have in front, and I'll go ahead and increase everything by 2 inches. So this is me taking out 1.25 inches for my band. I marked my 12 inches for my crotch depth and 20 inches for my allowance, and I'm going to rule these lines out and label them just like I did for the front. On my crotch line, just like I did for the front, I'm going to be marking my hip measurement divided by 2 plus half inch for ease allowance, which is 10.5. Mark the same thing on my waist. I'm going to connect this together with a straight line. Next, I'm going to go up by 2.5 inches from my crotch to help me draw in my curve. And next, I'm going to impute my thigh measurement divided by 2 plus half inch for ease allowance. And from this angle, I am going to be marking 1 inch, which will help me create my curve just like this. So I'm basically repeating everything I did for the front, and after doing this, I am going to make some adjustments to this. Okay, so guys, right now I am done drafting exactly what I have on the front right here at the back, and next thing I'm going to do is to go ahead and add allowances to this, because I did not add allowances to the front. Most times when making a shirt, all the allowances are added to the back. That's how I drew mine. So on my crotch line, I marked out extra 2 inches. I'll advise you to mark 3 inches. I ran out of fabric, that's why I used the 2 inches. Then on my length line, I marked 2 inches, and I'm going to connect these points together like this. So on my waist, I am going to mark that same 2 inches. Okay, this 2 inch is like a standard. It's only on your crotch line that it should be more because of the butt. So it should be at least 3 inches so that it would not be too tight and it will accommodate your butt. Okay, so please do not make this a mistake I made. I was facing a fabric constraint. So with these lines marked out, I'm going to go ahead and draw in a new crotch for the back. Okay, so this is the new line that I am working with, and I'll just go ahead and erase the previous line so that we do not get confused. Okay, so please, if you have any questions, drop it in the comment section for me. I'm going to do my best to answer these questions. So this is the back pattern. Everything is almost ready. Okay, finally, to complete the drafting process of this shirt, all I need to do is to raise my back waistline. You can decide to slant your front waistline, that's come down by 1 inch or half an inch and slant it downwards, but I usually do not slant my front waistline when I'm making an elastic band shirt or trousers. Okay, to raise the back waistline, you can use 1 inch if you're working with a really small butt, but I recommend 1.5 inches. You can go as high as 2 inches and above if you have a really big butt. I used 1.5 inches to raise my back waistline, and I slanted it to the side. I feel like in my next project I'm going to be using 2 inches because it was a little bit tight around my crotch area and hanging low a little bit. So in my next project I'm going to be raising it by 2 inches. Okay, so right now we are done, and I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. So I realized that I forgot to add my seam allowance at the waistline, seam allowance to join the waist to the waistband. So I am marking half an inch all around, connect it with my straight ruler, and I'll go ahead and continue cutting this out. After cutting, guys, this is what it looks like. Okay, so the front and back shots in one piece is ready, and I folded it in by the side, and as you can see, this is the front is the one that is shorter, and the back is bigger and longer. Okay, can you see that extension that we have on the waistline for the back? So I'm going to be placing this like on top of another fabric, and I will trace out this exact thing. So make sure you place it right side facing right sides or wrong sides facing wrong sides, so that you will not have any unpleasant surprises after cutting. So here it is. I have used it to cut out another one. This is what it is looking like. Okay, so I'm going to separate this, and I'm going to bring one piece, fold it right sides facing each other, and I'm going to be closing the inner legs together. I'm going to be stitching it down by 1 inch. You can stitch it down by ½ inch, it depends on you. So I'm going to do the same thing for the both of them, and this is what it looks like after I was done stitching it down. I went ahead to open press all my seams, okay, and it's looking clean. Go ahead and weave it all around if you have an overlocker in your house, but I don't have an overlocker readily available in my house, so I'll be doing that after sewing the entire shorts. So I picked one of the short legs and I flipped it over to the right side, and this is to help me join the crotch area together. So I am imputing it into this other short leg, and I am going to be aligning it together at the same points so that I can stitch the crotch together. So I'm pinning the back crotch to the back crotch and the right crotch to the right crotch. So make sure that it is right side facing each other and everything aligns. Everything must align at this point. If not, you did something wrong. So after pinning this down, I'm going to take it to my sewing machine, and I'm going to go ahead and stitch it down. I'm going to be using 1 inch to stitch it down, and after stitching it down, this is what it looks like, guys. So I stitched it down. I started from the front and then I got to the back crotch, but I didn't stitch it all the way down. I left about 3 inches at 4 inches opening, and this will help me attach my waistband easily without so much stress. So flipping this to the right side, guys, this is what it looks like. I am already in love with what I am seeing. It's coming together. It looks like an actual short. Okay, so this is what it looks like. You can see that the back waistline is higher than the front waistline, and there are no side seams. Look at the sides, no seams. This is like a really quick and easy way to sew your shorts. So the next thing I'm going to do is attach my waistband to this, and I'll have to measure out what I have on the waist in order to prepare my waistband. Okay, so I am going to be folding my waist into two like this, and I am going to go ahead and measure it out. So after measuring it out, I have a total of about 22.5 inches. So I am going to prepare a band that is that long. So here is my band that I have already prepared, and measuring it out on fold, I have about 25 inches, which is more than enough. Alright, so this is the way I prepared my waistband. I'm going to open it up so that you'd see. I have a total of about, I think, 4.5 inches before folding it. Okay, 4.5 inches before folding it in. And first of all, I folded it in by ½ an inch, which I'll be using to stitch it down to the waist, and I folded it in again by 1¼ inch. Okay, I'm using an elastic of 1 inch, so I started to fold it in by 1¼ inch. Okay, so if you are using a waistband of 1.5 inch, you fold it in by 1.5 inch. If you're using a waistband of 2 inches, you fold it in by 2 inches. Finally, I folded in the excess fabric in such a way that I have a little bit peeking out here. So I'm going to make a very detailed tutorial on how to prepare a waistband. There are different ways to prepare your waistband. I like using this method when I am sewing a short or a trouser. So you can use whichever pattern of fixing waistbands that you are familiar with. The end result is just to attach a waistband to your shorts. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stitch this down. I'm going to place it, I'm going to open it. Okay, remember that ½ inch I told you that I folded in earlier? That's what I'm going to be placing on the right side, and I'm going to be stitching it down all around. And after stitching it down, guys, this is what it looks like. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to be flipping this over to the wrong side. Okay, but before I do that, I'll cut out this excess that I have here. I have an excess. Next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and complete sewing my back crotch. Remember, we left a little room so that I can stitch in my waistband. Okay, so I'm going to align this together, right sides facing each other, and I'm going to align the same point. Okay, make sure that the same points match each other, and I'm going to open up my waistband and just stitch it all the way down. Okay, so after stitching it all the way down, this is what it looks like. And as you can see, my seam allowance is facing towards the waistband. Make sure that your seam allowance is looking up to Jesus and not down to okay, so this is me just going into folding my waistband, and I'm just going to use the folded edge to conceal my seam allowances. And this is me aligning the same points, making sure that they match. See, all these little details, they're important, they're crucial. And I'm going ahead to pin this down. So as you can see, I'm pushing my seam allowance upwards, you know, like I said, let it look up onto the heels. Okay, and you know, just pin it down to make your life so much more easier. And I'll go ahead and stitch this down after pinning it. So I'm going to be stitching it down from the front. Okay, so I'm going to take it to my sewing machine, and I'm going to be stitching exactly on my initial stitch line. See, this is why I said I'm going to do a different tutorial on how to attach different types of waistbands. So after stitching this down, guys, this is what it looks like. And this method of sewing waistband is going to keep your seams hidden in front. As you can see, my seams are hidden, except you pull it up, you won't see it. So this is what it looks like from behind. So after stitching it, I left a little bit of space. Okay, as you can see here, a little bit space, and this is going to help me pass my elastic in. So this is the 1 inch elastic that I'm using, and I am going to be using my waist measurement minus 1 inch. My waist measurement is 28 inches minus 1 inch, 27 inches, because I want this thing to be, you know, free. I don't want it to be too tight around my waistline. So with the help of my safety pin, I am going to be passing this elastic in like this. So after properly and carefully passing my elastic through, I have gotten to the other end, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this elastic on top of each other like this, take it to my sewing machine and make a stitch to secure it in place. And this is what it looks like. So I am just going to put everything inside the waistband and go ahead and conceal that little space that I left open for passing my elastic. Okay, so basically our shirt is ready. The last thing that I'm going to do is hem the bottom. That's the ends of this my shirt. So I am going to be folding it in by that 1 inch. This is why I used the selvage for the hem. Okay, so I'm just going to fold it in by that 1 inch and use my hemming gum to secure it, or you can decide to fold it in twice, whichever way works for you. So this is it, guys. I have concealed, you know, that open space that I left, and I used a hemming gum to hem the ends of my shorts because I'm going for that seamless finish. Okay, so guys, we are done with making our shorts at this point. It's very simple, it's very easy to make. You can do this under 1 hour, both the pattern drafting process and the sewing process. So this is what it looks like on me. I'm in love with it generally, although there are a few changes I would like to make. I think I'll opt out for a half elastic waistline next time, and I'm going to be increasing the back waistline by like 2 inches because it's hanging a little bit low on the back. Other than that, I love everything. I think I'll make it a little bit freer next time. Can you see the sides? No seams. So I'm going to be making another tutorial on how to do this with a half elastic waist, and I'm going to make a little bit more adjustments for a better fit. And with that being said, we've come to the end of today's tutorial. If you found this video helpful in any way at all, go ahead and give this video a like so that more people can get to see it. If you're not yet subscribed to this channel, please hit that subscribe button. If you have any questions, any thoughts, any suggestions, drop it in the comment section and I'll see you in my next video. I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching. Bye guys.